Welcome to Podcast, the Business of Dentistry podcast, brought to you by Practice Plan. Podcast delivers the best business advice, real-life stories, and practical hints and tips to make your practice a more profitable and sustainable business. And now, here's your host.
Hello and welcome to the Practice Plan podcast, the Business of Dentistry podcast. My name is Ian Eslick. I'm the Regional Support Manager. And today we're looking at a topic which affects more and more dentists across the UK, retirement planning. To help break it down simply and clearly, I'm joined today by Magdelena Harding, who's a dental specialist financial advisor at Wesleyan Financial Services, who works with dentists at all stages of their career. Thanks and welcome, Magdelena.
Hi, thank you, Ian.
Whether you're close to retirement or it still feels miles away, the decisions you make now can have a big impact on your future. So let's dive straight in. Let's start simple, Mike. What's the current trend you're seeing around when dentists are choosing to retire?
Now, that's a really interesting question because I think it really varies. Whether you have the aspiration of actually wanting to retire at 50, 55, 60, 65, but also have people that say, oh, I think I'll go on till I'm 70. So it really is a tricky question to kind of like be specific, but I think it really depends on your own personal circumstances and the lifestyle you craving.
Aspire to, yeah. And why is retirement planning particularly important for dentists compared to other professionals?
I think because dentists is so unique with regards to their different various income streams. So in the past, they would have solely relied on NHS pension, but now we see more and more dentists investing into private practices. And when you are opting out of the NHS, and going private, you do need to focus on the private pension as well to make sure you don't end up leaving your retirement plan with a massive gap.
So the essentials that dentists need to review. For dentists to think currently about thinking seriously about retiring, what's the first financial area they should be looking at?
The big jigsaw puzzle. They really need to look at everything. So for me, I would say start looking at a budget planner. I know it sounds really boring, but a budget planner is the starting point of everything. It's making you focus on what your outgoings are now, what we are foresee to potentially have outgoings in the future. We don't have a crystal balls. We don't know exactly how much you would need, but it's a really good starting point of actually start looking at that. Then we're having a look at extra existing liabilities, making sure that that all fits in within your retirement planning as well. And the most important thing is also looking at protecting your income for now, because if anything does happen and you can't carry on working, it does also massively affect your retirement planning and your ability to save for your retirement.
Yeah, and obviously the NH pension is a big part of a dentist's throughput. What's the most common misunderstanding dentists think about the NHS pension?
I think that potentially think that it might be enough for those who was in pension within the NHS for years. But it's also kind of like what retirement age you are actually got. So we have various different NHS pension schemes, and each one has a different retirement age. So there are a large majority of dentists now that will be on the 2015 pension scheme, which is actually linked to your state retirement age. So it's not just defaulting to age 60 or 65 like we would have potentially thought. So, and you potentially could access your pension a bit earlier, but then you take a reduction on that. So it's those nitty-gritties of the NHS pension you need to really, truly understand.
Now, obviously, in the dental practice, there's the business owners, the principals, and then there's the associates. So for practice owners, retirement comes with additional considerations and complexities, really. When should practice owners start thinking about their exit strategy?
So if I may quote Stephen Covey of the having the end in mind, so I would almost say as soon as you purchase your practice, you should start thinking about the exit. But I would say at least 5 to 7 years beforehand, if you want to maximize your exit strategy, so maximize your growth, looking at how you spend your money, making sure you are as efficient as possible, and making the most out of your practice. So I would say if you haven't started it right at the beginning, at least 5 to 7 years.
So always have the exit in mind.
Absolutely.
Let's look at obviously associates. And for associates, what does a sensible retirement plan generally look like? Because they're not the business owners. They are like working as part of the business, but they don't own the business. So what's their difference regarding their exit strategy?
It really is to have an early conversation and actually kind of like look at what your objectives are, and what you would like to achieve in retirement, and work on your own personal circumstances, because every single person is individual and unique. So for every associate out there, I would say have a meeting with someone, sit down, actually review what you want to achieve and when you would like to achieve, and then we can work out how achievable that is
Yeah.
and help you to kind of like make that happen.
Yeah. So obviously deciding on when they want to retire and how they want to retire and how much money they've got. It's about lifestyle and affordability. So beyond the finances, how important is it for dentists to be clear on the lifestyle they want in retirement?
I think it's really important, because although we keep saying we haven't got that crystal ball, is if you want, for instance, go off on your yacht and sail around the Med, when you retire, you potentially need your fitness, you need health, and I think for that it also includes then potentially looking at reducing stress during the working day, and as part of the reducing the stress, it's actually kind of like making sure you are looking after your finances as well, because if there are a big gap in a certain area, you're going to worry about that, and that's going to lead to more stress. So I think it's just really focusing on making sure you always have a financial plan, reviewing it constantly, because we know life throws lots of things at us and things change, and your financial plan will change with you as well.
So it's regular reviews throughout their career.
Absolutely.
So do you find that dentists that you speak to on a regular basis, they either underestimate or overestimate how much they'll need to retire comfortably?
Now, can I create a new word for the dictionary? Because I think there should be a non-estimate as well. So I think lots of people generally think, oh, I'll never have enough to retire. But how much is enough?
Right.
And it's actually kind of like ask our questions like, let's sit down, your personal circumstances, look at what you would like to do, how much you spend, have you got debt that needs to be repaid? So it comes down to the individual basis. And I have helped clients previously that was thinking, oh, I'll never be able to retire, or I'll have to work at least till I'm 65. And at 55 or 58, they fully stepped back from NHS and they retired and they haven't looked back. So it really is just depending on your own circumstances.
So if you did a timeline, the earlier dentists, either owners or associates, think about their retirement plan, and the earlier they think about it and start the process, the better it is going forward.
Absolutely. I always say the earlier you start, the cheaper it is, because you have a longer period of time that you can actually save into a pension plan for yourself. But also, don't forget the tax savings. So it's also never too late to start putting money into your pension. So I can't stress the fact that it's so important to just sit down, review what you need, look what you've got, and don't forget the amazing tax savings that's available for dentists to save into their pensions.
And sometimes they don't even think about that as an option, the tax element.
No.
They probably think about every time, twice a year, they've got to pay their tax bill, and they don't think in advance about how they can sort that out earlier down
Yeah.
in their lifestyle. So for anybody listening to this podcast who hasn't started planning yet at all, which may be quite a lot, what's the single most best first step that they can take?
Take a step. It's never too late, and I would say definitely reach out, sit down with a specialist financial advisor who understand your income streams, because like I say, dentists do have NHS, they got private, and just sit and have a look at what you would like to achieve, and doesn't matter when it is, we can always make a plan to help you achieve your retirement objectives.
And before we finish, Magdalena, if a dentist wants to speak to a Wesleyan financial advisor for personal guidance, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you or your colleagues?
Well, my email address is magdelena.harding@wesleyan.co.uk. Mobile number 07766781274. You can also go onto our Wesleyan website as well, and you can either put in the person's name that you would like to speak to, or just a postcode, and we'll be able to contact you as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Magdalena, for sharing your insights today. And thank you to everyone who's tuning in. Retirement planning doesn't have to be overwhelming, and hopefully today's conversation has given you a clear starting point. So wherever you are in your career, like we've agreed today, the earlier you start, the better it is for you and your family and your dreams and your aspirations. So good luck out there, and thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.